So this is one of my favorite Christmases. When I was, sorry, I just noticed some people change seats. I know it messes me up. If you don't sit in the same spot, then I don't think Jesus can find you. But anyhow, this actually was one of my favorite Christmas, and I was working as a missionary priest in Belize. And we had this program, the Catholic Church does, where, let's say, this sounds, okay, explain. You can buy a pig for a poor family. And so let's say you get a pig. But the deal is this, we'll give you the pig, but on the first, I don't know what it's called, litter or flock of piglets, you have to give half of it away. And the great thing is that if you give half away, then you get a pig, and your family gets a pig, and your family gets a pig. And that is a huge, huge deal in some of these very poor places because, you don't have anything. And with a pig, you can then get a whole herd and take care of your family. I don't know, what is it called, a herd? I think it's a flock. Doesn't matter, but... So that's the deal, and the parish owns the boar, and so every so often the boar would come and spend time in your village and then make baby piglets, and that's a big deal because that means more people are going to be saved from poverty. And to get to this one village, in the village, it was a small village. Everybody in the village would probably be the same number in this parish. And to get to the village, you'd have to cross this river. But the pig is in a cage, the boar is in a cage, and that would be in the boat, and there's not room for everybody. So I got this canoe, and it was this little, thin, long canoe, which was really neat. And you just paddled your way across. So as I'm paddling across the river, I'm coming in first, because, I'm the most athletic. It was amazing. On the banks of the, kind of on this little brow, is the entire village. And they're there, and I'm paddling, and they only get Mass once a month. And this is Christmas. I'm going to celebrate it. And they are there on the banks. And the little kids have flowers, and they're cheering. And I am thinking, great mother of God, they love when the priest shows up. I mean, this is amazing. And, I make it on. Then the boat with the boar comes, and they all go running to the boar, which let me know where I stood, right behind the boar. But it was kind of nice because, they had kids put on a Christmas play, and then we had Mass, and the boar attended. And I'm not kidding. That's a big deal. Even if you get a pig, these people are so poor, you sleep with your pigs. I know you, sleep right next to them. That's a big deal. And the odd part is, during the Mass, what I realize is that I know it's crazy about the boar and the pigs, but it really does remind me a lot about Christmas for this reason. If your family gets a pig, you can escape poverty. You have a way out. That now you have a way out. There's a whole new chance, a possibility of a whole new beginning. And in a way, that is what Christmas celebrates. That Christmas, the Feast of Incarnation, that God, the creator of everything in the universe, of time itself, actually takes on human flesh and becomes one of us. And the reason why God became a human being is because it's us human beings who lost what it meant to be a true human being. So, to fulfill the prophecies, to teach mankind, this is what it means to be a human being. That's why, in the prophecies, one of the prophecies is, you'll hear it on the Son of Man, is the human one. The human one will come to restore our humanity, restore religion to what it should be, and even restore our society the way it should be. That's what the first reading is about. If we gain our humanity, then there'll no longer be need for master and slave because we're all one family. War will be outdone because we live in love and peace if we gain our humanity. So the prophecies is that the Messiah is the one who will restore all this. And so on Christmas, what we do celebrate is actually this double meaning. One meaning is, yes, the birth of Christ. The other one is the possibility of the birth of our humanity. Because if you remember in the Old Testament, in Genesis, in the book of Genesis, when you are born, yes, you are loved by God, but technically you are born an earthling. That's what you are, an earthling. And until you learn how to love to the point of death, unconditional love, only then, when you know that, do you become a true human being. So Christ comes to teach us the way of love. And in the Christmas story, those who are drawn to it will become true human beings. Mary and Joseph symbolize the righteous that believe in love. The shepherds are the humble. The angels, of course, from heaven, the good. Even the Magi technically are pagans, Zoroastrianism. But they search for wisdom and truth. And all those who search for truth, they will make it to the manger. God will lead them to true humanity. And so it's this double meaning that it's really, yes, the birth of Christ that we're celebrating, but also the possibility of our humanity truly being born. So the real manger, by the way, is not here. The real manger is here. The Messiah who's going to teach us the way of life, the shepherd that will feed us life. It's not there where God feeds us. It's here. Over a lifetime, what we're hoping to be born is our true humanity. And so in Hebrew, how you say compassion in Hebrew, the root word for it is womb, like a mother's womb. And Christ in the Gospels pictured as the compassion of God, literally the womb of God. And what is being born in the womb of God is us, our true humanity. That's why the altar is always associated with birth, because it's here over a lifetime, feeding on the life of Christ. Well, what we really get is true life of what it means to be a human being. So it's this double meaning. That's what we're hoping for. Even religion changes. Religion used to be about rules and regulations. The Messiah is going to teach us about the way to become a true human being is love and justice and courage and compassion. That's the way of a true human being. So the odd part is when I'm talking to young adults, and I know I tend to be invasive, but when I talk to young adults and I ask them about their spirituality or religion, I'm always a little set back if I ask you about your spirituality and you mention something like, well, I love hiking and I hiked to Machu Picchu, good for you. Or you did community service, which is good. But if I ask a question about your internal life and all you can answer back with is about externals, then I still think there needs to be a loss of vocabulary about the virtues that you haven't quite found. That's why I honestly think, I mentioned that because I think it takes a whole lifetime to give birth to your humanity. I am hoping to become a true human being where I have died completely to my anger and my ego. And all I have to give the world is love and compassion. That's the way of Christ. So if you think here's a great point. A couple days ago on TV, they showed the Christmas Carol, Dickens' Christmas Carol. I know many of you people don't believe in watching TV. I've dedicated my life to it. I really don't watch that much. But did anybody see the Christmas Carol? It was really good. But think about this. Scrooge, before Christmas, he's technically a moral person. I mean, he's an awful human being. But technically, he doesn't steal, he doesn't lie, he doesn't cuss, he, doesn't commit adultery. Technically, he doesn't break any of the rules. So I guess you could say he's moral, but he's not a human being. And then on Christmas, and this is what I love, The Christmas carol is a story of Christ without ever mentioning Jesus. It really is the birth of Christ. And on Christmas, after the three spirits come to him, on Christmas morning he wakes, and he wakes to be born a true human being. Because, he makes this pledge on Christmas that he will live his life in love and joy. And he says, I like the line where he says, I will live Christmas each day in my heart. What that really means is that the birth of Christ, true humanity, is going to be lived in his heart every day. And after that, the first thing he does is go to church and pray, because he's in a relationship with God, the divine. And that's what a true human being does. And after that, he wants to be called Uncle Scrooge. Before, he only cared about himself, but now humanity is his family. And he even cares for the least, Tiny Tim, and pays for Tiny Tim to get help. He's compassionate to everyone. It's really the story of Christ, the birth of true humanity in Scrooge. And so the same is true with us. Today, on this day, there's two births that we're praying for. One, thanking God that God took on human flesh. And the other one we're praying for is our humanity, our true humanity is born in us. And so together, let us stand and profess our faith.